I was born near Venice, but because of my dad's job, we moved around a lot. In my memories, my childhood was always sunshine, playing outside in the mountains. We had a ton of friends. I have an older sister who's only 11 months older than me, so we grew up very close in age. And I met Steve one night in November. I was in the university in Milano studying there. He took the train 4 hours down from Freiburg, Switzerland to Milan just to come and buy a pizza and go back home another 4 hours.
I met her on the quay at the train station in Milan. Well, we ended up sitting side by side in that train.
It was really packed, and we started talking. And then when I got home, I got into the kitchen. I told my mom everything that happened. I told my mom I met the man that I'm going to marry. And my mom laughed and threw her hands in the air and said, "He's an American. You'll never see him again." So 5 children later, yeah. It was fun. The first pregnancy for both of us, we were both newly married pretty much, and it was really exciting also just to be on the phone and exchange symptoms and whatever not, And then, of course, Alexander was born first, so I had a whole bunch of advice,
It's what we had hoped for when we got married, to have children and raise a family. And Alex had suffered a lot from the very moment. He had just little things going on that they couldn't really diagnose. So they were homeschooled, but they were not allowed to do a lot of outdoor activities that kids in the neighborhood would be doing. In fact, for Danielle and I, that was one of the hardest things, is to not be able to encourage them to develop local friendships and get out and just have normal activity. With each of our children, it's been very different, the way this disease has affected them. Alex, our oldest, he had a few hospitalizations and where he was quite sick, but they were never particularly alarming. Aiden, on the other hand, our middle child, our 14-year-old, he's been really blessed with the greatest stability and health. With Ian, that was quite different. He, from the time he was born until he had the transplant, was struggling really to survive and just very weak.
We took him to a children's hospital, and that's where we met our wonderful doctor. When Ian was about 4 years old, he was getting more and more sick, and she started to talk about the possibility of a transplant. And we were, no, we're not hearing, we don't want to do it. We so did not want to do it. It was terrifying for us. That summer, when Ian was 4.5, my nephew in Italy, Matteo, who's the same age as Alexander, got a viral infection that turned secondary bacterial, and he died of septicemia within a week, 10 days. It was super fast, and it was shocking for everybody. I don't want to get emotional. It's been 5 years. I feel very selfish to say that, because it was almost a blessing for us, because it opened our eyes of how fast things could go bad. Within a couple of months, Dr. Pose was also, who had always been very tactful and very gentle, putting the idea in our mind of a transplant. She obviously knew, she always wanted to know how my nephews were doing in Italy. And she was very blunt, and she told us, it was around Christmas time, and she told us, if you don't do the transplant, he will not be here next Christmas. you have to be very cautious for a whole year. So the first few months you are pretty much quarantined. We disinfected everything. I bleached everything, cleaned everything. Nobody's allowed in the house. Nobody's allowed we cannot receive visitors. We cannot go anywhere. It's exhausting. It's a whole year that you invest in the health of your child, and just it's house and hospital, hospital and house pretty much, and that's it. Alexander is already, his horizons are opening because he is almost ready to follow his dreams, whereas turn the clock back 1 year ago, he was not even making plans for the future because he didn't want to be disappointed and he did not know what was going to happen, in all honesty. It still amazes me, and even now Ian has been declared completely cured and he can live a normal life, and the doctor keep reminding me, you don't have to worry about anything, it's just a normal child. And a couple of months ago he had a fever and I was starting to freak out and said, oh wait, I don't have to, it's just not a big deal, it's probably a bug, I don't have to worry about it.